So good evening once again. I believe we're doing well. And if you had a good day, that's good. And if not, your day is about to get better. This is an opportunity for us to give back. We're Crosstie Solution, a people development organization, people development and management consulting firm, and we've been around since over 2014. And we've worked with several brands from the big to the mid to the small businesses. And we are committed to one mission, which is to improve business performance and productivity. And then we thought, what's one way we could do that aside from what we're already doing? Is to reach out to people, to young professionals, mid-level professionals, and even the senior ones with our free webinar, monthly webinar. And that's why we're here today. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is about showing up. It's about executive presence, leading boldly. Executive presence, leading boldly. So okay, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, we're diving deep into that topic today. And I know that is something in the mind of a lot of us, a lot of mid-level professionals, even the common ones like leadership, leading boldly, showing up and showing up well. And then we thought about it, who could we bring on here to talk about this topic? And then, I mean, we check our bank of facilitators and then we found Ify, and there's no other person to talk about this than Ify. I have been in Ify's session where she talked about, executive presence, and it's always an eye opener. So I'm just going to read out Ify. Let's get to meet Ify in 1 minute. So Ify is a business communication expert and a personal brand trainer. She's a qualified learning and development professional with over a decade of experience in workshop facilitation and training. And she utilizes experiential learning and creative training techniques in both private and public sectors. And with a warm and engaging approach, this is what it's I don't know if you've experienced her, she's always very warm and engaging. She offers a range of specific skills and experience in training, design, development, and delivery. If he has a keen interest and a flair for facilitating soft skill, and what we're going to be talking today, we can categorize that into soft skill. She has a deep knowledge of factors affecting human performance, especially as regards, the impact of soft skills have on the sustenance of success and developing a presence in consonance with one's designation and achievement. If he has over 15 years of experience functioning as a training and development strategist to organizations and individuals. She has designed and run programs on personal effectiveness, exceptional customer service, etiquette, business communication, and culture change for various industries, ranging from government, banking, to finance, oil and gas, telecommunications, and even the educational sector. She has worked with several top executives in the areas of personal effectiveness, business communication, customer service, personal branding, and executive presence. And today we have Ify Emeka-Onu to talk to us about executive presence. So before she comes up, please let's jam our hands together. There is an emoji for doing that. You see reactions. Let's, welcome Ify with a clapping ovation. Yes, yes, yes. I see that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ify, we're glad to have you here. Thank you for being here. You have the floor now.
Thank you so much, Kofo. I'm wondering if it was me you were actually talking about. All right, it's good to meet you all this evening. It's a beautiful um, Tuesday evening, Lagos, Nigeria is where I am logging in from, and I get to see that quite a number of us are also logging in from Lagos, Nigeria. I hope we've all had a wonderful day. I know it's been raining all day, at least from my own part of the Lagos where I am currently. It's been raining cats and dogs last night till this morning and even up until now. And I really do hope that we're going to have a favorable internet connection and we're not going to have our internet connection going epileptic at one time or the other. It's good to see all of you here this evening. I know that David Olaolowa Ogunkoya, I hope I'm allowed to call you by your first name. I want to assume that David is your first name, and I hope I'm allowed to call you by your first name because the etiquette rule says that you do not call people by their first names or their nicknames except they have given you permission to do so. Like Ofo mentioned, my name is Ify Emeka-Onu, and I'm usually very comfortable if people call me by my first name, Ify. So if tomorrow you're able to recognize me outside, please feel free to come around and say hi and just call me Ify. And it's good to meet you all once again. This evening, we are talking about executive presence. Executive presence. A number of people usually wonder, what exactly does executive presence mean? Did you even notice how I pronounce the word ig? It has a G sound. Yes, the X in that word gives us a G sound. So we're saying executive and not executive. When you say executive, obviously you don't even have the executive presence at all. Now, this is not a class for pronunciation, but we're looking at how you exhibit executive presence. From my calculation, David was the first delegate to even log into this class. I think he logged in even before 5 p.m. That is one feature or one trait of someone who professes to have executive presence. Yes, if you do not remember anything at all in this class, remember that anytime you have a meeting, you have an appointment, you have an online class, or you have even a social gathering, one way you can actually tell to people that you have executive presence without mentioning it is the fact that you actually come in early. David logged in here just at the right time. He logged in before 5 p.m. I wish I could actually see Dave. I wish it was a physical class. And trust me, David, you'd have actually gotten something from me. Because we know that in our part of the country, we try as much as possible to emphasize for us to always show up early at our meetings and wherever we whatever appointments that we have. There's nothing like African time. There's nothing like Nigerian time. Thank you so much, David, for even exhibiting the fact that, yes, you have one trait of an executive. Now, someone says, what exactly is executive presence? What exactly is executive presence? Can I have two opinions from anyone in the class? What does it, when you hear the word executive presence? Now, I don't want anyone Googling. Do not Google. Don't give me any AI explanation or any chat GPT definition. What came to your mind when you saw the topic for our webinar today titled Executive Presence? Who'd like to go? Let's get to see. Anyone wants to say anything? You can unmute and let me hear you.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, David.
Good evening. May I call you Ify?
Please go ahead.
Okay. For me, executive presence is, I think, the confidence that an executive shows. For me, it's all about confidence and your courage, your appearance. I think that's what executive presence
Mm.
is for me.
He says, thank you so much, David. Thank you. David says, executive presence to him is all about the confidence and the courage that an executive shows. Confidence, courage that an executive shows. Now, David is not far away from the answer. Okay, now let's look at this. When we say executive presence, what exactly are we saying? I have something on my screen that says people who are perceived as good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Take a look at it again. People who are perceived as good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Take a critical look at the statement and pause for a moment and think, truth or lies? People who are perceived as good-looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Truth or lies? I'll give you about 30 seconds to take a moment and I'm counting now. 30 seconds. We have about 5 seconds left. I gave you 30 seconds for you to look at this and tell me what you think. Does anyone have an opinion about what you can see on your screen? Truth or lies? Does anyone have an opinion? Let me get to hear what you think. Just unmute and speak if you have an opinion. I'm waiting. What do you think? No one has an opinion?
Blessing.
Okay, Blessing, please go ahead.
So I don't think that this is necessarily true. Actually, it's untrue. I don't know the good looks, a person's good looks has anything to do with.
Okay, Blessing, just a moment. Just hold on. Hold on, Blessing. Are you using an earpiece?
No, not.
Okay, because I'm finding difficult to hear you. I know you said that you don't, it's untrue, right?
It's untrue. Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
so
Is it
I
better?
think it's a bit better. So tell us why you think it's untrue.
Okay, so while a person's good looks could grant access. So I mean, if we have to go back to this topic, yes, it could grant them access. It gives that you look good, sort of gives you a certain something. I don't know what to use, a certain aura. And most people who look good actually have that aura about them. They know that they look well. And so while that would sort of give you sort of edge, I do not believe that I do not believe that it will necessarily make you earn more or that it helps you perform better. Nah, I don't think. I just think so.
Thank you so much, Blessing, for sharing your thoughts with us. Blessing says this is a lie because the slide says truth or lies. And Blessing does not agree with the statement. Who has a contrary opinion or who agrees with Blessing? I'd like to hear one more opinion, please. Thank you so much, Blessing. I really do appreciate you. Just unmute and speak. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Now, Blessing says she doesn't agree with the statement. And I know that quite a number of persons will not agree with the statement. People who are perceived as good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Now, I'd like you to have an open mind and just listen to what I have to say. If you have a contrary opinion to what I have to say, please feel free to unmute your microphone and then you speak. But let's look at it this way. Let us remove perceived from that statement and let's have people who are good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Remember that the initial statement is people who are perceived. It's a perception. People who are perceived as good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. And the second one does not have perception in it. It says people who are good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. Ladies and gentlemen, are the statements different? Is the former different from the later? Maybe I should ask Blessing, since she spoke to me directly. What do you think, Blessing? Are these statements different? The first one has perceived. The second one does not have perceived. The second one says people who are good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. What do you think, Blessing?
Okay, I'm trying to multitask here to work. The different statements. One is perception, and perception differs from person to person. So yes, two different
Thank
statements.
you. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you very much. The first one is a perception. The second one, we're saying that it's a fact. And that's not a fact. The fact that Blessing looks good does not mean that she's a performer or she will earn better than anyone else. But the first one has perception in it. I always say that perception to the onlooker is always reality until proven otherwise. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you think you are. What matters is how the greater authority perceives you. Executive presence is not what to tell people, oh, I have executive presence. Can't you see? I have executive presence. No, you don't tell people that. Rather, it is what people perceive about you. A popular English cliche says, first impression lasts longer. You may not be a proud person. You may not be a snob, but someone meets you for the very first time. And because of some circumstances, the person perceives that you're a snob. The person perceives that you're a proud person. Someone sees you and says, oh, where do you work? and you say, oh, I'm a banker, I work with a bank, I work with so and so bank, you start assuming that because this person works with a bank, it means that the person has so much money. And it doesn't work that way. There's something I always like, a particular analogy I always like to use. If you were to change your job at this moment and you go into the organization, what is that thing that may make you feel, that makes you perceive, because it is now a perception. You just assume that, oh, these people pay their staff well. These people earn well. Maybe we're opportune to go into their car park and you get to see the kind of cars that were parked at the car park. Because of the cars you see parked at the car park, immediately you have already assumed that this organization can pay me what I want to earn. That is what is called perception. Perception to the onlooker is always reality until proven otherwise. If you do not remember anything at all in a session today, remember that Ify said, perception to the onlooker is always reality until proven otherwise. Hence, we say that influence comes not just from what you do, but how you are perceived. Did you notice that? Influence comes not just from what you do, but how you are perceived. It is not only good to be good at what you do, but it must also be perceived as being good at what you do. Influence comes not just from what you do, but how you are perceived. You have a boss. You believe that you're working so hard. Does your boss perceive you as one who works hard? That's a food for thought. Because quite a number of junior executive and upward moving executive always complain about their bosses. Oh, I'm working so hard. I'm doing this and I'm doing that and all that. You know that you're working hard, but does your boss perceive you as someone who is working hard? That's something we all need to put into consideration. And that is why we need to understand that executive presence has to do with confidence, clarity, and credibility. David mentioned that earlier when I asked, what does executive presence, what does it mean to you? He mentioned confidence and courage. You cannot say, oh, I'm a very confident person. Do you know how confident I am? People must perceive you. People must be able to see that confidence in you. Clarity also matters. And most importantly, credibility. And that's because leadership is not just about what you do, but how others experience you. When people have conversations with you, when people have interactions with you, how do they, what experience do you live with them? Do you make them feeling better or worse? That's something you need to put into consideration. Albert Mehrabian, you can read more about him later on the internet, carried out a research. Tell me if you agree with this research or not. He said that when people meet you for the very first time, they will judge you first and foremost based on your appearance. And appearance takes a whooping 55%. Albert Mehrabian, read more about him on the internet. He carried out this research and he said, when people meet you for the very first time, They will judge you on your appearance, and it includes your dressing, your facial expression, your body language, and your grooming. Appearance takes a whooping 55%. For your academic grades, 55% is at least let my people go. So that's a pass mark. Someone who professes to have executive presence must be top-notch in the area of appearance. Your dressing, your grooming, your facial expression, and your body language. Your body language says a lot about you. Your body language says a lot about you. Sometimes some of us actually have this, like a diastical attitude, even in her body language. Appearance is not only how you dress. Appearance also has to do with your facial expression and also your body language. After your appearance, next comes your vocal quality. Vocal quality takes another 38%. People say English is not our language. Yes, we know that English is not our language, but unfortunately, English is a lingua franca in Nigeria. Yes, at this moment, English is a lingua franca. You and I are using the internet now to take some lessons on executive presence. And it was Englishman, because somebody will say, oh, English is not my language. Why do you want to be colonized by the Britons? You're being colonized by, and all that. Excuse me. Until it changes. In Nigeria, English is our lingua franca. Mind you, no one is asking you to speak like a Briton. That's not what we're saying. We're not asking you to speak like a Briton or like an American. No. What we're saying is that your grammar must be on point. At this level of your career, it will be an eyesore. It will be very, very disturbing if you do not know where to place your tenses. You cannot profess to have executive presence and you're having issues with your grammar, orally and also when you're writing. Business communication involves speaking, like I'm doing to you right now, and also writing. When you add 55 and 38 together, can you do the maths? What do you have? Did you say 93? If you said 93, then your maths is correct. 93%. It means that we have only 7% remaining. 55 already takes appearance, and then 38 is already taking the vocal quality. And we have only 7%. Can you guess what the remaining 7% is? I'll help you. Your content, your skills, and the real you. I'm sure someone is laughing where he or she is. Are you serious at all? Oh, yes, I'm serious. Now, this wasn't my research. This was Albert Mehrabian's research. Go on the internet, read more about him. I'm sure it is someone that you know. He has written several books that you may have also read. I didn't carry out this research. Albert is a nobleman. He carried out this research. Appearance, vocal quality, contents, skills, and the real you. As long as you do not have a household name, ladies and gentlemen, you're not a Dangote, you're not an Otedola, you're not an Adeleke, you are not Mark Zuckerberg's cousin or family member. Nobody knows you, ladies and gentlemen. You really need to work on Albert Mehrabian's impression of people about you. Let's look at Tony Lumelu as a case study. Someone says he's never caught on fresh. Tony Elumelu is a household name. I'm sure everyone on this webinar knows him very well. But he has what is called the beauty premium. You would always get to see him on his crisp, white, sparkling shirt, on his red tie, on whatever color of suits he wants to wear. Someone said to me some days ago and said, oh, Ify, but Mark Zuckerberg, Mark is a very brilliant man. After all, look at the kind of thing that Mark has done. Do you know Mark's network value? Mark wears just a particular gray t-shirt on a navy blue jeans. And I agreed with him. I said, yes, I know Mark Zuckerberg. I know that Mark wears a particular gray t-shirt on a navy blue jeans. I know that very well. He may have several of them, but that's what I know Mark wears. That's what I know that's what I know him as his, dress pattern. Google it. When Mark came to Nigeria some years ago and he was going to the National Assembly, this information can be verified. Please Google it. Mark wore a suit to the Nigerian National Assembly. Yes. Imagine Mark and people at the National Assembly, but he wore a suit. Why? So that the people at the other end can have a good and a great impression about him. Remember, people who are perceived to be good looking and attractive earn more and perform better than those who are not. And so when it comes to appearance, professionally, your dressing should communicate these things. Your dressing should communicate credibility. I am credible. Your dressing should communicate trust. I am trustworthy. Your dressing should communicate ability. I am able. I am capable. Remember, executive presence is not what you tell people, oh, I have executive presence. Do you know I have executive presence? I have gone on a class where I was given executive presence. That's not it. People perceive it. People feel it. People experience it. Credibility, trust, and ability. After being credible and being trustworthy and showing people that you're able, at the same time, it doesn't mean that I'm not stylish. It doesn't mean that I am not classy. It doesn't mean that I am not graceful. So if, for instance, you work in a very conservative industry where colors are picked for you, I mean, an example of a conservative industry will be the financial institution, for instance, a bank in Nigeria. Yes, that's a very conservative industry. However, from your appearance or from your dressing, even though it is called professional dressing, you still want to tell people that I am stylish, I'm classy, and I'm also graceful. So we need to understand that all of these things are very important. You have the outer self, you also have the inner self. The inner self is very important because the inner self is, a direct reflection, the outer self is a direct reflection of the inner self. The outer self has to do with the way you look, the way, your confidence, your courage, your steez, using the language of the Gen Zs, the steez, the composure, and being very demure. It's all about having executive presence. It's just that the Gen Zs just couch, another, I call it a fancy name for themselves. Your inner self has to do with your character, your confidence, your self-awareness, your self-worth. sometimes when you dress, people say, oh, did you just hit a jackpot? And we're like, no, I didn't hit a jackpot. I just feel good. So your outer self is a direct reflection of the inner self. And it's very important that you must learn to work on the inner self. And that's because, you know, it is what you have on the inside that reflects on the outside. And like I said, you need to work on it. It is very, very important, please. So if you take a look at all these females here, they have same qualifications, but from their dressing, you can actually give them designation or give them roles. What if I tell you that the woman wearing the plain and pattern is a CEO? What if I tell you that she's a CEO? You see how dressing does, how appearance does? So always be sure that at every point in time, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. What matters most is how you're able to put your colors together. Same thing with the men too. For the men, I always say, please know your shirt size. You can see that the first man and the second man are not wearing their correct shirt size. It is very obvious. The first man, his shirt size, the sleeve is very short. The second man, the sleeve is very long, and it tells you that, yes, this is definitely not his shirt size. So you want to learn to know your shirt size. If you're unable to button the first part, you know, for the men, usually when you want to wear a tie, you say, oh, I feel choked here. If you are unable to button this particular first button, then that means that that shirt is not your size. And because we all come in different shapes and sizes, you want to know your strength and your weakness. You want to know exactly what looks good on you. For instance, for professionally, for a woman, what you actually need is good hairstyle. Pay attention also to the color of your hair. Yes, there are other colors that you can also use for women apart from, you know, the black. You can do some tiny bit of wine, you know, some bit of blonde if you're light in complexion, but all the green hair, all the pink hair, and all the yellow hair, please do not wear such hair to work. Except if you're in a creative industry and it is allowed in your place of work. But if you're in a very conservative industry and you don't want to do black, there are other colors of hair that you can actually do, and be sure that your hair is actually appropriate for work, not something coming into your eye here and there. Long sleeve tops and shirts. If you're going to be having your short sleeve shirt, please always have a jacket over it. Always have a jacket over it. For someone like me, if I'm going to be having a long sleeved shirt, it means maybe I'm having a sleeveless jacket over what I'm wearing. Otherwise, I like my jackets 3/4 or short sleeve, or just something, you know, something that just presents you in a very good light. Something that you can even do dresses, but be sure that these things actually, when people get to see you, they see you as somebody who is professionally dressed. Good shoes. You know what shoes does to you? You can be wearing something very simple, but your shoes elevate the appearance. For women, I always propose wear at least 2 inches high. If you cannot do all the 3 inches or the 4 inches, except maybe medically you're not able to do heels, or medically, yes, or maybe if you're pregnant. Of course, if you're pregnant, some pregnant women even do heels, and that's because, you know, when you do heels, though it is not good, it is not medically recommended. When you're pregnant, please do your flats. It's better off for you that way. But what heels does is that it just elevates your outfit. So many things they can actually do in elevating your outfit. Like I mentioned, jackets, very is optional. Your trousers and your skirt should not be something clingy. There's a difference between when something is fashionable and when something is trendy. Fashionable pieces will be from now till time immemorial. But when something is very trendy, you know, sometimes it's in fashion now, and all of a sudden it's no longer in fashion. Okay, and then you also have your accessories to match too. One simple tip is that always understand that autumn colors Autumn colors are colors where you have blue, you have pink, you do silver, black and white, you do silver. And be sure that your accessories are aligning. Not that you're having gold earrings and then silver bracelets. Everything must align, please. It is very, very important. I already mentioned, don't do anything tight fitting. Don't do all of these things are things you want to put into consideration, please. Okay, I already talked about your blazers. Invest in blazers. They are actually very good. It takes your outfit from 0 to 100. I could be wearing a very simple dress, but when I have a blazer over it, it changes my outfit. If you're the type that does not like to do blazer, you can also do, there's so many beautiful work dresses that you can also do too. It doesn't have to be a blazer and all that. All right, a lot. Now let's focus on the men now. For men, we say that you should have good quality suits. Very important, please. Always invest in good quality suits. Your good hairstyle to understand what looks good on you, please. Look at what looks good on you. For some men, having some bit of afro makes them look good. For some men, if they decide to have all their hair clean shaved, it also makes them look good. For some men, they decide to have the afro look, it makes them look very untidy. For some men, they decide to have everything clean shaven, it makes them look like someone who just came out from, I think we call it the correctional something, correctional body or something. Not just something correctional in Nigeria. Yes, I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm trying to say. So good hairstyle is very important, please. All right. And then long sleeve tops also and shirts. Good shoes. Yes, men also pay attention to your shoes. I always say that for the men, count it as a taboo for you to leave your house without having your shoes polished. Be sure that your shoes are polished and then the soles are aligned, please. When you wear shoes and the soles are not aligned, it takes your outfit from 100 to 0 when the soles are not aligned, please. Your jacket can also be optional. Leather belt for men. Please do your crisp white handkerchief, not towels. You're not a musician. Don't do towels. Do your crisp white handkerchief. Wristwatch is also very, very important, please. If you're married, please do well to wear your wedding band. It just gives you, another kind of present, if you wish. Okay, and then be sure that your wallet is not giving you another bulge at the back, please. Your wallet should be very, very flat. Your wallet is just for something maybe some few naira notes and some few cards or something. It shouldn't be as big as what you have, on the screen here. And please, no holes in your socks. It is very, very important that you don't have holes in your socks. You can go somewhere and they ask you to remove your shoes and you have holes in your socks. What are you going to do about that? Your shoes should be well polished. I already mentioned that. And they should coordinate with your belt color. Brown belts, brown shoes. Black shoes, black belts. And not the other way around, please. Please invest in good quality leather belts. Okay, and then also practice making an entrance. Practice making an entrance is very, very important. The rule is shut the door after you or shut the door behind you. But most of us, when we are going into an office, especially when you're going for an interview, you always shut the door in front of you, and it shouldn't be. At the end of this webinar, practice it. You shut the door after you, so that means that you're not turning to shut the door. No. Open the door twice as wide as you are and then go in through the door like an executive that you are and shut the door after you or in front of you. And please do well to actually learn how to shake hands. Yes, there's actually a course on even learning how to shake hands. That's to show you how important it is. And try as much as possible not to let people see you sweat. Again, it takes you from 100 to 0. That's why you have your handkerchief. Always dab your faces, please. Toxic traits are also things you want to put into consideration too. And this has to do with your hygiene issues. I always say that toxic traits is no respecter of persons. The mouth odor is no respecter of persons. The body odor is no respecter of persons. The sweaty armpit is no respecter of persons. Having plaques in your teeth is no respecter of persons. Smelly feet is no respecter of persons. Please avoid all of these toxic traits. It is very, very important, please. When it comes to executive presence, you must also learn how to communicate. Communication that inspires also has to do with speaking with clarity and brevity. Clarity means being specific. Brevity is, using simple language that everyone can understand. Do not be like a popular man who was once in the Nigerian Senate that when he speaks, you need to go and open the dictionary to understand exactly what he's saying. No, learn to speak with clarity, be specific, brevity, use simple language that people can understand. Communication also has to do with listening actively and with respect. Yes, respect is something that quite a number of us must begin to learn because of what is happening around us socially. A lot of people are beginning to lack respect, and that's something that we do not want to be found in. Learn to manage your tone, your pace, and your presence. All of these are examples of toxic traits. When you pick your nose, when you pick your mouth in public, when you chew with your mouth, you're chewing with your mouth wide open and you're having a conversation and your conversation partner can actually see what is in your mouth, chewing, you're biting your fingers. You can also see the scratch and win promo here. Chewing gums. Yes, some people chew gums to freshen their breath. Sometimes I also chew gums to freshen my breath. If there's no sweets, usually I like to take sweets, but if there's no sweets and if I have gum, the kind of meals that we eat in Nigeria, maybe you've just finished eating ewa going with and all of those things, and all the seasonings, or you've just finished eating a foriro with the 7 lives, the iru, the fish and everything. And you don't want, because if you don't freshen your mouth, when you're having conversations with people, they can actually, perceive, they can smell that, oh, you just had a bowl that has something with fish and all of those things, and you don't want that. So you want to learn to freshen your breath. When you're chewing gum, please don't do what this woman is doing here in front of you. Chew gum, and you're chewing it to freshen your breath. We are not chewing gums like a cod, like a goat. No. Just chew it to freshen your breath, and then you empty your mouth. Picking your ears in public, sleeping in the office, all of these things are toxic traits, and we do not want to have anyone who has engaged in this webinar found in them. Remember that I said that if you appear like you're already successful, you will attract more success to yourself. Don't forget that initially, we look at the statement of people who are perceived to be good looking and attractive, earn more, and perform better than those who are not. Executive presence matter a lot. Ask yourself, where do you struggle most? Gravitas, communication, or appearance? Where exactly do I struggle the most? On a final note, ladies and gentlemen, remember that I said executive presence is not telling people, oh, I have executive presence. I went to a webinar organized by Cross-Site Solutions. I have executive presence. No. Executive presence is not about being the loudest in the room, but the one people trust to lead it. Don't forget, to be a great success, it is important not only to be good at what you do, but also to be perceived as being good at what you do. If you have questions, I'll be glad to take your questions now. Otherwise, I'll say thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have questions, please let me hear your questions. I'll just stop sharing my screen now, and I'm here. Oh, someone said I should share my screen. I thought I was sharing my screen all along.
Or if you can leave your screen on.
Oh, okay then. All right, so I'll leave it on.
All right. Thank you so much for this session. I believe I've learned a lot, and I believe everyone here has learned. First of all, from your pronunciation of executive, I've learned that. And I think I'm just going to run through, the things that we've learned from perception to, you said perception to the onlooker is always their reality until proven otherwise. And then when people meet you for the first time, there's always a first impression, and your appearance is usually the first impression before we talk about your vocal quality. And then the last one you said is content, which is the 7%. I mean, your appearance takes 55%. Learned that. And then you also talked about dressing and that communications, your credibility, trust, and ability. And then what you have on your inside actually shows on the outside. So what you have on the inside, it's what shows in your dressing, shows in your appearance, shows on how you show up. That's really amazing. And then you talked about toxic traits. I think that's one thing that people sometimes don't usually pay attention to, because it could be easily overlooked. As little as, chewing a gum, taking sweets, picking your nose, those little things. It's sometimes you could have been used to it, and then you never thought about it or seen it as something that is toxic. And like they'll say, these little things, it will spoil your steez. So let's refrain
I
from.
agree with you. I do agree with you.
And then you get to talk about communication as well, communication, where you talked about clarity and brevity. I think that's one thing I usually enjoy from your session. As much as you speak in with clear intonations and pronouncing each word correctly, you keep it simple. It's something we can relate to. You don't go far and beyond to use like big words and all that. So yes, so thank you so much. And I know that everyone here has learned one thing or the other, if not a lot of things. So please, let's give Ify a clap innovation. Yes, we can use our emojis again. We can use the reaction in. You can see, yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ify. Thank you for this wonderful session. And I know that we've enjoyed this session. And some of you were like, I think I have someone in my workplace that I want this person. I should have sent this webinar to them. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Even if they miss the webinar, you can always contact Crosstie. We have this as a course. We offer this as a course. So we can do this for your organization. You can reach out to us to train your organization, to train your group on executive presence. Thank you. Okay, so we have I know that we promised you a certificate, but for you to get your certificate, you have to fill the feedback form. The feedback form is in the chat box. Please look out for it. The feedback form is in the chat box. Please look out for it. Please kindly fill your feedback form so that you can get your certificate. I know that you have questions. If you have questions, do you mind raising your hand? Then you can unmute to speak, or you want to drop your question in the chat. Let's ask questions. I have questions. I want to hear from us first. Please don't forget the feedback form is in the chat box, and we have a course, a short course on sorry. Okay, yes, we have a course on building your personal brand, and it's on our resource hut on our website. The link will be shared in the chat box as well, and it's very affordable. And then we thought, okay, let's give a discount for people that attend our webinar. So this is how you get your discount. We will also be dropping a link to our knowledge hub. It's a group chat and WhatsApp, it's a community on WhatsApp actually. So you could join when you join, and then you request for the discount when you have visited the resort world and you want to purchase, you have a 30% discount. So please don't sleep on this. You snooze, you lose. Okay, so that being said, I'm waiting for your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. But I have a question, Ify. Sometimes people say,
Right.
you say, oh, I should dress a certain way, I should speak a certain way, I should do certain things so that I could be perceived as, being a leader or someone with so I could be perceived in the right light, so to say. But I feel like that's not me. I feel like I'm faking it. I'm maybe Yoruba person or I'm Igbo, and I just want to be natural. I just want to be raw. Where do we find this balance?
Connection.
Where do we find the balance of, faking it and then doing the right thing? Hi, if you can hear me. Okay, please just hold on a second. I think if his network is acting up. Can someone confirm if they can hear me? So I know it's not from my end.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, Ify.
Okay.
Oh, you're
Can you
back.
hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can.
All right. I think I got your question. Like, where's the place of like you want to show that you're a proper Yoruba lady or an Igbo man, you want to be very natural and you don't want to fake it and all that, right? I think that was your question.
Yes.
Okay. So no one is asking you to fake it. There's no one asking you to fake it. In fact, I always say that even our mothers back in the days actually taught us what is called personal grooming. Personal grooming. So they always wanted to make sure that you always looked very neat, armpits well shaved, and all that. So it's not a matter of faking it. It's just the fact that the your office environment especially is a public place. When you're in your respective house and you want to do anything, please go ahead and do whatever you want to do. If you're in your house and you want to have all your heads flying here and there and all that, it's a private place. Go ahead and do what you want to do. But you're in a public space. It is a public space. And you want to be sure that, don't forget that there's someone, one of my slides said, the experience people have with you. You don't want people wondering and, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't think I want to have anything to do with that man or with that woman again. And like I said, you are not yet a household name. If you're a household name, you can do whatever you want to do and you can get away with it. But at this moment that you are not a household name, I'm sorry, people will judge you. People will judge. You know, we always say we listen and we don't judge. This time around, they will look and they will judge. People will judge you. So if you know you don't want to be judged in a negative way, please let them give you a positive mark. Remember, I think there was a particular quote I saw that said that people will stay. That's humans for you. They will always look at you. People will stay. Please make it worth their while. So while I'm staring at you, please make it worth my while. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ify. I think that answers. And to be honest, people that actually have a household name, you won't find them doing things like this.
Exactly.
Who do the right thing.
Exactly.
Yes, I have another question. So someone, I mean, when I posted this thing, the flyer, someone asked the question, and the person said that, how can, I mean, and then you mentioned that what you have on the inside actually projects outside. So my question is, how can someone who does not feel so confident project confidence?
And that's something that can happen. If you do
Okay.
not feel confident. If you're not a confident person, I'm sorry, you cannot project confidence. I mentioned an example. You're feeling very happy. It also shows in the way you dress. People ask you, "Oh, did you hit a jackpot? Is it your birthday or something?" It's the same thing. A lot of persons are going through mental and emotional concerns and challenges. I always say that even if you see a therapist today, the therapist can only try. The onus lies on you as a person to come out from whatever quagmire that you find yourself in. So, yes, we know that things will not always be perfect because sometimes life happens. Life happens to every one of us. Don't think that everybody you get to see, like you get to see all the celebrities or you get to see people on social media and they're always posting their happy pictures and all of those things. Do not assume that life doesn't happen to them. Life happens to everyone. The only difference is that some of us have actually learned how to go through whatever challenges we may be facing in life with a happy face. Because it is what you have on the inside, like I mentioned, that's what is going to reflect on the outside. Always learn to see something good in everything.
That's a good one. Just a quick reminder, the links to all that I've said is in the chat box. The feedback link is there for your certificate. When you fill the feedback form in an between 30 minutes or an hour, you will get access to your certificate. And I mean, we're talking about executive presence, we're talking about leading boldly, we're talking about online presence as well. Please, when you get your certificate, post it on your favorite, social media platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, anyone, and please, please, please tag Crosstie. We're giving this to you for free. There's anything that you could do for us, is that tag. So please tag us when you post your certificate. Okay, thank you, Ify. I think I have like two more questions. Yes, someone said that or should I say, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start the journey, or they're, they just heard about executive presence and they want to be intentional about it. They want to do something about it. What's that first thing they need to focus on?
They should focus on their parents. Focus on your appearance first. After focusing on your parents, because I'm assuming that you have gone through the four walls of the university, because this webinar is for upward moving executives. So you've gone through the four walls of the university or of the polytechnic or whatever form of education that you have gotten. So you have the academic knowledge and you have the technical know-how. Academic knowledge, technical know-how, you have it already. So there's already a level playing ground. You have the skills, you have the knowledge, you have the content. This is an assumption anyway. What you should focus on is your appearance. And don't forget that we said that appearance has to do with your body language, your facial expression, your grooming, your attitude, and all of those things. After your appearance, just go through Albert Meridian's, impression, the way people actually form impressions of you. Appearance, and then your vocal quality. It has to do with your grammar, the way you speak, and all that. Appearance takes a whooping 55%. The next comes your vocal quality and then your content, because people must be able to accept you first and foremost before they even want to open their ears to listen to what you have to say. So we want to assume that you already have all the technical know-how and the academic know-how. Please focus on your appearance so that I can open the doors for you. There's already a level playing ground with your knowledge, appearance, vocal quality, and then your content, which we already assume that you have already, because that's just, unfortunately, just about 7% of the whole 100%.
It's interesting because one would think that the content should take more, but apparently it's the least. on that. So I want us to talk a little bit more on vocal quality. So what should be the focus, or what are the areas of vocal quality that one should be looking at when you're talking about when you're putting these three things into considerations?
So anyone who was in this webinar from the beginning would observe that when I talked about vocal quality, I mentioned your grammar, your pronunciation, and your vocabulary. Now, if you have the content, you must be able to articulate your thoughts. I always say that the higher you go, the more difficult it is for you to hide. You have the content, it is non-negotiable. You must be able to articulate your thoughts. Now, this is not saying that we are downplaying content or downplaying knowledge or downplaying technical skills or academic skills. That's what we're saying. It is assumed that you already have your academic, the knowledge, the skills, and the content. That gives you a level playing ground already. Now, when you have the skills and the content, you appear like someone that has the skills and the content. And then we open the door for you. You must be able to articulate the content or the skills that you have in you. That's basically what vocal quality is all about.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing more light on that. Yes, we must be able to articulate that. Thank you. So, to our audience, we have few minutes left, but I would like to hear from one person, whether it's a question or a contribution or something that you think you want to just share with us. Let's hear from you. Once again, the feedback form is in the chat box. The link to our knowledge communities also in the chat box. And then we have a personal brand course on our website, which is our resource vault. You could go there and shop for yourself to take. I mean, you've learned so much about executive presence, and I'm sure the next thing you were thinking about is personal branding. So please go there. And like I said earlier, you've joined our webinar, you have a 30% discount, but you have to join our knowledge hub and then request for your discounts. Then you can go on the resource vault to purchase your course on personal branding. So I'm opening the floor to anybody, questions, contributions before we round up. I'd like to hear from us. I mean, we have a couple of people here, just one person. I think I've heard Blessings speak, and then one other person while if he was still presenting. So let's hear from someone that I haven't spoken before. I've also heard David speak. So tell us something that you've learned, something that stood out for you, something you're going to be doing, you're changing, you're going to do differently moving forward, or something that you learned, something that you haven't heard before, or just a contribution or an experience that you had. Let's hear from you. Communication is a two-way thing. So let's hear from you. The chat box is open, and you could also unmute to speak to us. Anybody? Okay. In the absence of none, I want to believe that we've enjoyed this session and we are filling the feedback form, and we're also joining the community of. So I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us today to talk about executive presence and leading boldly. Thank you, Ify, for championing this. Thank you for coming here. We really appreciate you. Thank you. See you next month on our next episode
My
of
pleasure always.
Cross Time Webinar. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure always.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
and enjoy the rest of the evening.
You too, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. I see that in the chat box. Thank you, Abbas. I see your clap. I see your clap, Rita. John, I see your clap as well. Same as Abbas. Thank you. Oluwakemi saying thank you. Thank you too. See you in our next webinar.